Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is the Steven R. We are back with another Green Hornet 66 episode review. Today we'll be reviewing the episode Crime Wave. So without any further ado, let's hop straight into the review. We begin this episode at an airport where there is some maintenance to be done on a nearby aeroplane. Whilst people are waiting for the aircon to come on, a group of criminals come aboard and essentially turn the aircon system into coming out with knockout gas, knocking anyone out, and the gang of criminals escape with some jewelry that was currently on the plane, and they leave behind the calling card of the Green Hornet. We do the usual opening credits and we get back to where we left off. The current crime is up in the media, with the Green Hornet believed to have been responsible, but as we know, Britt Reed didn't, because the Green Hornet doesn't commit crimes. He pretends to. And Britt Reed says to Axford that person could be impersonating the Green Hornet, and even though Mike can conceive to his theory, he does ask the real question: then who's doing it? As we go forward, Ms. Case comes in with a telegram to reveal of essentially of someone making the prediction of Britt Reed later goes to meet Marcus, the guy that's making the predictions, along with his female assistant. Whilst there, he gets to have a layout of the computer that is essentially spitting out all these predictions. Whilst he's there is a new prediction coming out where the Green Hornet's about to strike next. Marcus explained the reasons why he's programmed for this thing to predict where the Green Hornet will strike, courtesy of the fact he is the criminal mastermind of their time. As a result of that, Britt Reed then goes back home and calls Scanlon and essentially updates him about the whole thing. Even though he believes Marcus is clearly behind this, he clearly knows for a fact that the female assistant is definitely not involved. He did a quick background check, and she is revealed to be the top technician in the country, and has not one hint of being crooked in her file. Realizing that this is a golden opportunity to maybe tail Marcus or take Marcus down, they agreed to have the robbery go ahead, and of course trail them back to their hideout. And the robbery goes off as planned and the robbery, if you're wondering what they're robbing the box office at a local game, I think it is. Basically, the box office is when you go to like these sporting events or the movies, you go where you pay for your ticket to come in, and that's a box office. Just as the criminals who are performing the robbery make their escape, the Green Hornet follows, but is quickly forced to call off when the police come. As a result, they decide to go to Marcus's apartment to interrogate him. Whilst at Marcus's apartment, turns out there's a costume party taking place. They then burst in, and Marcus thinks this is just a part of the party and just goes along with it. Marcus is dressed as the devil here, and I like that little insight into who he really is. Just as however, the Green Hornet does come up to him and suggests he really is the Green Hornet and not a pretender. Marcus, realizing that he's telling the truth, takes him out back to have a conversation for a possible team-up. And of course, Green Hornet, pretending to be the notorious criminal he is, agrees to join him in his latest big caper. Just as that's happening, we go to the Daily Sentinel, where Marcus, with Axford, implores Britt Reed to have the police be involved for a possible prediction to where the Green Hornet is supposed to take place, with Mike Axford backing Marcus up. Britt Reed consents. However, he suspects a double cross. Again, this robbery was meant to be kind of a distraction for the Green Hornet to pull off a real robbery. As a result, he expects a phone call, and he gets a phone call from his case telling him how the plans have changed and that there's a new robbery to take place. Britt Reed guesses correctly to the new robbery, and he says he suspected a double cross. After that, we then cut to Marcus and his female assistant back in the computer, where this female assistant stumbles across Marcus planning his big caper, essentially to steal all this gold that is coming into the docks. He plans to steal it and make his escape along with his crew, and have the Green Hornet essentially be captured as a way to get him, to get rid of him. Just as she tries to make her escape, she is apprehended by Marcus's thugs. We then cut to Marcus and his men in progress of stealing the gold, and I like how you can clearly tell he's been planning this for a long time. And again, it's revealed in his motivation as to why, because he's been living a hand-to-mouth life and wants something better for himself. Just as this is going on, the goons, for some reason, bring the female assistant in along on the robbery. Just as they're taking the gold, the Black Beauty bursts out of the truck that they are taking, and essentially Britt, Reed, and Kato quickly get out and deal with the thugs. Now, I will be honest, Kato doesn't get to do much fighting. He mostly spends most of the time behind the wheel in this episode, but when he does get to shine, Bruce Lee shines. And of course, the Green Hornet has a standoff with Marcus and his 2 henchmen and quickly knocks him out. We end the and of course rescues the female assistant. We end the episode with the Green Hornet cleared of the recent robberies. Marcus is taken down, but Mike Axford reveals that he knew that he was guilty of being involved because it was too coincidental. He only went along with it, hoping to get the Green Hornet, clearly seeing that he was teaming up with him. But it didn't pan out. I like that little chuckle, and then we go to the credits. The cast this time. Mike Axford doesn't really play that big of a role. I really wish Bruce Lee as Kato could really have more fighting skills to really establish that, but he spends most of the time behind the wheel. The Green Hornet, in this case, are fun as ever, and Scanlan doesn't really play that much of a role in the episode. Marcus is an interesting villain. Again, by this point, we mostly had the Green Hornet go up against, gangsters / racketeers, but he's going up against a person who just wants to quickly get rich and live the high life. So you kind of feel sympathy for him a bit. I like how he shows his true colors. At first, he seems this nice guy, but when we see his true colors, he's generally villainous. I like that he's a bit different, but at the same time, he is rather bland. And honestly, that's kind of how the way I describe this episode. Crime Wave does have an interesting premise though, someone pretending to be the Green Hornet to do these robberies, something that will become a bit of a recurring theme with the Green Hornet being accused of robberies, or at least him having really nothing to do with it. Marcus is a different type of villain. I like it, gives us fresh air, but at the same time it feels like we've done this before. Anyway, this is an okay episode, but it also feels rather a little bit underwhelming. Not fully underwhelming, but it feels definitely different. The first 3 I definitely made. The first 2 I had fun. The third one was definitely different with a different opening, and this one is definitely different, but it also feels like it's going down a level. Again, I would really like to see more Bruce Lee with his fighting skills, and it is okay. This is an okay episode. There we have it. That was Crime Wave. Join us next time for the next Green Hornet adventure. So until next time, this has been the Steven Hour, and so long for now.